About with A.B. Stoddard, associate editor at The Hill, and Matt Moore, chairman of the South Carolina Republican Party. Awesome to see both of you. And Matt, let me just begin with this news now that this governor of Iowa, this establishment Republican governor of Iowa, is saying, you know, not at all supporting Ted Cruz as we're 13 days away from the caucuses. My question is, would this backfire? Couldn't this possibly galvanize the Ted Cruz supporters to get out, caucus for him?
It certainly could. I'm not sure this is the kind of narrative that you know, the quote establishment likes. It certainly helps maybe Donald Trump and Ted Cruz.
A.B., what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a great day for Donald Trump. He's been tweeting in sheer delight, but I think Ted Cruz does have an ability to turn the establishment and their opposition to him to an advantage. You know, he's going to brag today and tomorrow, even though this is kind of surprising, that of course, you know, the establishment's out to get him and the elites want him to bend to the winds of special interests, and he's going to fight. You know, he's going to speak to anyone who's basically neutral on ethanol subsidies within the conservative base in Iowa, and actually could end up helping him. He has to remain organized, though, to make sure that something like this doesn't become an advantage to Donald Trump.
Let's also stay on Trump and looking ahead, you know, reading through the political tea leaves. If this is tonight, this mystery guest that they're teasing, if this is an endorsement for Sarah Palin, A.B., my question is this. Help me understand why Sarah Palin would endorse Donald Trump.
Well, I think we understand why she'd endorse somebody, because she wants to stay relevant, but she's not.
He's had mighty progressive views through the years.
It's not. Yes, it is. This is, look, I guess if Ted Cruz got this endorsement, he'd be happy that Donald Trump didn't get it, but I don't know that he's going to be devastated that Trump's getting the Palin nod. She's really, as I said, she's really become more and more irrelevant with each passing year, and I don't think it's really going to help Donald Trump at this moment. I think religious leaders are a much better catch for him, given the support that Cruz has managed to attract among the evangelical community in Iowa, and I think people like that would help him far more than Sarah Palin would at this point.
So let's go. I'm thinking Iowa, New Hampshire, and then of course we have the primary in South Carolina. And Matt, to you, how do you think a Sarah Palin endorsement for Donald Trump would affect folks down there?
It's hard to say. She was very influential here in 2010 in the governor's race, endorsing Governor Haley, who then became governor following. But she certainly has fallen off over the past 7 years in terms of her influence on the right. I think what's going to happen here in South Carolina, we'll see the field obviously get smaller. This is not a two-man contest by any means. A lot of campaigns are really competing here in South Carolina. They are well organized, and the standard metrics, I think, political gravity still applies. Who has the best field organization? Who's here the most? Who could turn out ballots on February 20th?
I have just been handed, we'll do this all together here. This is a tweet apparently just sent out by Ted Cruz. Speaking of Sarah Palin, he tweets, "I love Sarah Palin USA. Without her support, I wouldn't be in the Senate. Regardless of what she does in 2016, I will always be a big fan." So, love all around. What's going on here?
Well, I think he's going to be fine without Sarah Palin's endorsement. Maybe, you know, he just thinks that he's got to kill her with kindness to keep everybody happy in the Sarah Palin camp, which is increasingly small.
Kill him with kindness in politics. Who'd have thunk? Let me ask you all about the other side of the race. The race is tightening on the Democratic side as well. This new national poll shows Bernie Sanders definitely gaining on Hillary Clinton. And Matt, to you, you know, you say, if Clinton and Sanders were to join forces, it would be a dream come true. Tell me why.
Well, you've got one candidate, Hillary Clinton, who's under investigation by the FBI, and you have in Bernie Sanders a candidate that's a committed and dedicated socialist. I think it's bad for the country. I think the country is far away from those views. But look, here in South Carolina, seeing a repeat of 2008, Hillary Clinton's campaign needs South Carolina to be a firewall. She has big questions surrounding her campaign following the debate here in South Carolina over the weekend. Her views on a lot of issues are all over the map. And certainly there have been questions raised again on her sort of her truthfulness and lingering questions on her accountability of the American people.
Okay. A.B., Iowa, final question. You know, everybody sort of says you have the folks who say, oh, Iowa doesn't really matter, and the folks now saying Iowa's huge, huge, huge this time because it'll really sort of be this harbinger of it'll tell us about the future of the primary season, whether Trump's fans actually translate to voters, right?
Right. Trump fans, he's looking for new voters, and new voters are the least reliable in a tricky and complicated, arduous process like caucusing. So he's going after people, and he really has to motivate them. You could argue that he's doing that easily, but so far there's no rush and surge of new voter registration. They're all pretty much going to have to come out in the next 13 days or on caucus night, which is allowed. But at this point, Barack Obama, when he flooded the system, had registered a lot more Democrats at this date close to the caucuses. So it is, but I think if Trump wins Iowa, it's really going to be hard to stop him. I mean, I think that Cruz has a good chance of beating him there, but if Trump takes it, it's real momentum for the rest of the race.
We will all be in Iowa. We will all see it firsthand. A.B. Stoddard and Matt Moore, thank you so much.